Welcome to Watercare Whiteboards, an ongoing video series for engineers, system owners, management, and personnel to answer commonly asked questions about water quality topics and Ixom Watercare solutions. How can Solar Bee and Grid Bee equipment help save you a ton of aeration mixing energy in a partial mix wastewater pond system? Over the next 3 minutes or so, we'll explain how you can attain huge power savings. How huge? 30 to 50 horsepower per deployed floating wastewater mixer and a 1 to 3 year payback. But to fully understand how extensive energy savings can be achieved, let's start off with some aeration basics. There are two important considerations when sizing aeration for a partial mix wastewater pond system: dissolved oxygen production and dissolved oxygen distribution, otherwise known as mixing. The larger horsepower requirement of these two considerations, plus a redundancy factor, helps to determine the total amount of horsepower needed for a given system. Most often, the horsepower requirement for mixing exceeds the horsepower requirement for dissolved oxygen production by a lot. To accommodate the mixing requirements, systems commonly add more aeration to overcome the difference. But there's an elephant in the room. It can be extremely expensive to operate aerators just for mixing. And it is precisely this horsepower differential between dissolved oxygen production and mixing that leaves the door wide open for serious energy savings. For example, let's take a look at the following scenario. An 8 million gallon pond requires 40 horsepower for dissolved oxygen production, but it also needs a whopping 96 horsepower for mixing. Take the larger of the two and tack on a 20% redundancy factor. Now this aeration system requires an installed total of 115 horsepower. That's an enormous energy disparity just to accommodate mixing. However, with Solar Bee or Grid Bee floating wastewater mixers inserted into the mixing equation, you can start to leverage some significant power savings very fast. This is how. The example scenario requires 115 horsepower of installed aeration, but only 40 horsepower of aeration is needed to maintain dissolved oxygen production. Solar Bee and Grid Bee floating wastewater mixers can be used to satisfy all the mixing requirements with substantially lower power consumption, which in this instance can be a lucrative 56 to 75 horsepower in savings. In most cases, existing aeration is left in place to maintain compliance with current permit requirements, and it can also serve as an added layer of redundancy, helping to make your system even more bulletproof. Now you have a much more energy efficient system and a huge cost savings on your power bill, with less sludge buildup and better water quality. Can it get any better than that? Why, yes it can. Power companies often have incentives for energy-saving projects such as this, making the project payback even quicker. Solar Bee and Grid Bee floating wastewater mixers for your partial mix wastewater pond system. Real energy savings you can take to the bank. Contact us today for a free energy savings evaluation. For more information on Ixom Watercare solutions, please contact us at 866-437-8076 or through our website www.ixomwatercare.com. Thanks for watching.